Cenk, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for that warm welcome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to talk about Cenk Uygur, who was at the TPUSA conference, who got a standing ovation from the crowd. So the article up here says Cenk Uygur praises TPUSA crowd for being more welcoming than the Democrats. Absolutely hilarious. And just to kind of elaborate on that here, we're going to watch this clip. There's three clips we're going to watch. So this first one is where he's basically talking about how conservatives and MAGA are more accepting than people on the left. And it's so funny that this guy is saying all of these things now after, they lost the election. But let's get into this clip. But before we do, guys, please hit the like button down below. It really helps the channel out. And of course, if you're brand new, consider hitting subscribe. Let's get into it.
On the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing. Okay, so you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
We're glad Cenk's here, right, everybody?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist, right? But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right?
Yep.
So, look, I propose simple rules, the three rules of the internet. Rule number one, when we disagree, we fight. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Now, rule number two is afterwards we must have a beer together, okay? And rule number three is, for God's sake, when we agree, let's unite. So, for the left, we have too much division. We almost never unify. I don't mean with the right, I mean internally.
Facts.
The left loves to attack one another. I love you guys on the left. I love you. But every once in a while, when we get a yes, when we agree, can we please unite? And the second thing we need is for the old, I'm being honest, and on average, not everyone, of course, but for the older Democratic voters, please turn off your television sets. They're lying to you. They're tricking you. They're trying to get you to vote for corruption. They're trying to get you to vote for policies you don't even want. So If we can do those two things, then we'll be in great shape.
Yeah, so there you have it. Very, very interesting take from this guy. And it's funny because people like Cenk did the same thing, is they pushed that Trump was the divisive one, that Trump is going to divide this country even further. But it looks like Trump is actually reuniting the country together. The left is dividing themselves from within. Like he just said, anytime you disagree with the left, they kick you out, essentially, right? They shun you out of the group. And I mean, that's just like cult behavior. But it's funny how they always say that Trump was the one that's divisive, but people on the left are not even united within each other to begin with. So it's very funny to me. But so then he goes on to basically congratulate in this clip, congratulate MAGA and conservatives for essentially taking over and winning. Let's get into it.
In terms of what has gone wrong in the Democratic Party, it's the same thing that went wrong in the Republican Party. But I do have to give you guys credit for a revolution well done. And what I mean by that is not a revolution against the Democratic Party or the left or the country, but a revolution against the establishment. So I knew you guys were for real in fighting against the establishment when I started going on right-wing shows and I would say something negative about Mitch McConnell. And when I did that in the past, what I would get back is, oh, no, Mitch McConnell's great. Pelosi's terrible, but Mitch McConnell's great.
Let's do that here. What do you guys think of Mitch McConnell?
All right. Yes, I love that. So look, for my left-wing friends that are watching out there, they just booed Mitch McConnell. That's a great thing, okay? And let's do one more. What do you guys think about Dick Cheney? My left-wing friends out there, we have been waiting for the right-wing populists to boo Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney our whole lives. Take the win. Take the win.
We've been booing the Cheneys for a long time. Y'all just embraced the Cheneys when Kamala was running for president. Funny how that happened. But they took people like the Cheneys and people like Adam into the Democrat coalition because they hate Trump. Not because they actually supported Kamala's policies. No, they were just a puppet for the Democrats to demonize Donald Trump. And she was also, Liz Cheney was part of the January 6th commission. So they used all of that to demonize and attack Trump. And it's funny because Liz Cheney and Adam and all those people, these never Trumpers, they didn't realize that they were being used by the Democrats as puppets. They actually felt like that they were part of the coalition, that they were going to help them win. Hilarious. This is comical. But it's funny how we've been booing Liz Cheney and Mitch McConnell for a long time, and now all of a sudden, Kamala Harris embraces Liz Cheney. Comical.
Now, what we need to do in the Democratic Party is we need to do likewise. We need to have a revolt against the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrises, and the Nancy Pelosi's. And the Hillary Clintons, and now all of a sudden the Dick Cheneys. What are they doing on our side? Are you guys nuts? Right?
I have to interject. When all of a sudden Kamala Harris is doing the Liz Cheney thing, I said, does she want to lose? I mean,
what's amazing is I said the same thing. Look, Dick Cheney polls at 13%. What lunatic thought it was a good idea to wrap yourself around Dick Cheney? I mean,
Idiots.
When we started the Young Turks 22 years ago, longest running show in internet history, first ever YouTube partner with original YouTubers, one of the driving forces was get Dick Cheney out of office, right? And now for Kamala Harris to come full circle and say, oh, I've got 90 corporate CEOs backing me, and I've got all these executives on my side, and I've got Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney on my side, was so counterproductive. It's not what the left wing stands for. It's not what the Democratic Party should be about. So the problem is the establishment. They are controlled by the donor class, and mainstream media is their marketing arm. They do not do news. They do propaganda.
Wow. Wow, incredible. Oh my God, this is so crazy to witness. And then this is my favorite part of this whole segment where Cenk tries to basically say that, the number one thing that we need to hold our ground on is our constitutional rights. And he just contradicted the heck out of himself in the beginning of this clip. And Charlie is going to get him with this awesome gotcha moment. Check this out.
Example, I'm massively in favor of gun control. You told them not to boo, but I knew they'd boo on that one.
they paused to their
Yes.
their respect. You were asking for it, Cenk.
Yeah, I did ask for it. So my point to my left-wing allies is, am I going to emphasize and insist and demand on my gun control policies when we're in the middle of a national election? No. Because I know those are not winning issues at this point. I've got more work to do to convince the American people before we get there. So if on trans issues or any other, or crime issues, etc., if you really believe in the most far left positions, as I do on gun control, for example, that's okay. But you've got to know what to emphasize and what not to emphasize. And so if you say, no, I'm going to die on every extreme hill, well, you will. Electorally, politically, you will die on that hill. And then you lose on all of your issues, because it's sometimes a binary game. Certainly elections are. So you got to know what to convince the American people of and what to hold your ground on. And the number one thing to hold your ground on is constitutional rights. So I'm going to do some...
Like the Second Amendment.
He did not expect that at all. He didn't expect that at all. Let's read some of this article. Young Turks co-founder Cenk Uygur praised a Turning Point USA conference for being more welcoming to him than Democrats. That's so crazy. Uygur joined TPASA leader Charlie Kirk on stage in Phoenix, Arizona at the organization's annual America Fest 2024 conference. Footage from the event showed the progressive media pundit receiving a standing ovation. And that was the clip that I played for you guys in the introduction of the video. So, I mean, they embraced him.
Cenk, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for that warm welcome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. So
there you have it. Now, you think if you have a liberal conference like this, that a conservative pundit like Candace Owens, if she was to go on their, at their conference, that she's going to get a standing ovation? Hell no. She's probably going to get booed. She's probably going to get booed. A conservative pundit that would go on these platforms, if they have like these liberal conferences, they would get booed. They're not going to get a warm welcome like Cenk did. But Cenk expressed that, right? He said that any time that MAGA or conservatives see somebody that agrees with them 5%, we embrace them. We say, come home. We love you. Let's see what else we can convince you on. Now, on the other hand, if you disagree with the left 1%, it doesn't even have to be 5%. You agree with the left just on one issue. You disagree with them on one issue, they don't want anything to do with you at all. They're gonna shun you. I mean, just look at how they've been treating Lindy Lee, the lady in the finance committee for the DNC. Look how they've been treating her, and we're gonna probably make a video about that. But I mean, they do not like anybody that goes against the Democrats. So it says, during his on-stage interview with Kirk, Uygur noted that Republicans do a great job of coalescing and more welcoming to other political groups than Democrats. Uygur has criticized Democratic leaders, including Kamala Harris, following Donald Trump's victory in the November election, for not reaching out to independent voters with a populist message. He also encouraged Democrats to unify and stop attacking one another. Uygur then said that older Democrat voters need to stop watching cable news because they're trying to get you to vote for corruption. Yeah, so interesting segment here. I truly love this. I'm not gonna lie, because here's the thing. I don't know if I believe this guy or not, because what he tends to do is that, like, for example, like Dave Rubin. When Dave Rubin left TYT and, became a conservative or whatever, this guy hates that. He attacks him. He attacks him as a grifter. He said he's basically like a horrible human being and you should never trust this guy. Blase. He switched up on all of his issues. Cenk attacked him, and they were on the Piers Morgan show, where he went on for like a 3-minute rant attacking Dave Rubin for switching sides.
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance of that. I'm not like Dave Rubin, a giant sellout fraud who changed all of his positions and is totally useless, and it shouldn't even be on here. He's just a waste of space.
Wow. Really? After all Dave said about coming together?
Yeah. Yeah, no, got no interest in coming together with utter frauds like Dave Rubin. So, brother, you telling me that when you were on the Young Turks, you were Mr. Progressive and you agreed with us 100%. Now, all of a sudden, you agree with Trump 100%. You're not saying something nuanced like we are. Hey, when the guy gets shot at and he puts his fist up, that's courageous. When he does the McDonald's photo op and it works fine, no problem, right? If he wants to cut the Pentagon, great. Those are progressive positions. Anti-corruption, progressive position. Anti-war, progressive position. But you change all of your ideology overnight and you expect us to believe that that's real? I don't think it's real at all. And I want an apology from you for all the crazy, outrageous lies that you told about the Young Turks. When is that going to happen, huh? Wow. And when are you going to admit that you changed all your positions for money? Okay, well, what position do you still have that's in any way a so-called classic liberal? You fraud,
Dave.
Piers, it's barely worth responding to this ridiculous buffoon who's the joke of the industry. I will say this, Cenk, I haven't spoken to you in 10 years.
Even right when you're thinking you're a total fraud.
I don't think he's a fraud or a joke. I think Dave Rubin is, for what it's worth, I think Dave Rubin is one of the most influential and significant voices out there right now. And I admire his honesty about the journey he's been on, Cenk.
Piers, I appreciate that, but the thing is, what Cenk just proved is exactly what everyone in America, and I would say all over the world, is getting over. Nobody wants what he just offered up there. Not only does no one believe it, and he had it prepackaged and ready to go, and it's complete drivel. Yes, I sold out. It's just so nonsensical. Again, Cenk, I'll gladly send you a signed copy of the book, and you can read all of my thoughts. And if you're anti-corruption and you're anti-war, you should be on the Trump train. But your endless hatred, the division that you sow, calling everyone racist and white supremacists, all of that stuff, it's why you're not respected. But I don't mean to get into the personal side of that. I'm talking about now something that culturally has shifted, and everyone can see the grift that you're up to, trying to sort of dance with the thing. But it's just not necessary, and I don't think that many people will buy it.
Well, so I don't know what to believe about Cenk, right? Is he trying to switch sides? Is he grifting by agreeing with the right and going on these conservative conferences and platforms and talking to people on the right? Is he a grifter for that? I don't think so. I wouldn't categorize it as that, because you're allowed to change your mind. If you believe something one day and you learn something different the next and you change your mind, that's normal. And if you just come out and say, hey, I was misinformed, now I'm more educated on this issue, therefore I have this opinion, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Anybody should be allowed to do that. On either side, you could go from the right to the left, from the left to the right. You have the right to do that. And I wouldn't technically consider anybody a grifter for doing so. You might have just gotten wrong information, right? You might have been told something that wasn't true, if whichever side that you switch from. But you're not necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily call you a grifter, in my opinion. I don't know. It takes a lot for me to call somebody a grifter that switched sides. There has to be like concrete evidence, some type of evidence. But anyway, let me know what you think, guys. Let's talk about this video in the comment section. Hope you enjoy the content. And of course, if you're brand new, guys, please hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.